Hi, this is Elliot Wavesage. I want to go ahead and do a quick market update. And this isn't financial advice. Always do what's best for you. What this market reminds me of, we have to go back in time to a trading period right before the March 2020 crash. This is reminds me of how we traded within this area, and in fact, we may be right here, right now, and look what's to come. So why do I think that? Well, back in March, back in February, we knew COVID started taking hold in China, yet the market pumped. Everything melted up. Tech stocks kept going higher, despite all that fundamental, headwind that was developing. Now, people at that time thought it would never come to the United States. That was crazy talk. But nevertheless, what this ended up being was one of the best short opportunities in a lifetime. The market kept grinding higher, seeming invincible, and it was just never going to end. This was just never going to end. From here, in this dip, and then here. So, what do we know about the market right now? We know we're either where my arrow is pointing, or we've already topped, and we're actually, in this type of area. But I don't think so now. After watching how the market is behaving, like it would be doing as if we were going into a crash wave. It's trying to trap as many longs and get rid of as many shorts. So one side of the market completely gives up, and then the other side goes all in. We're getting bear, capitulation, or bearish despair on the bearish side, giving up, throwing in the towel. But I do think, going back to the SPY, I'm starting to think, what if we do push up to 413, 414? Now, we may not, because again, if we look here, this looks like 5 waves down in a 3-wave bounce. That should start to go down again tomorrow. But this could also be a big expanded flat for a wave 4, and then we get a wave 5. But whatever happens, whether we pump, whether we just drop tomorrow, we are going lower. We are going lower. So there's a lot of euphoria, and it's great. Feel good. If you're long, congratulations. Don't be a greedy bastard. Take some profit, guys. If you made it this far in your long positions, congratulate yourself to hold in this long, because this is going to come to an end. The daily stochastic will reset. Hasn't even started its journey. The weekly may even reset higher to where that even pushes down as we're pumping. This is the SPY. Now let's go look on the Dow. You need the daily to reset. You need the daily. And now here in the Nasdaq, the daily is wide open. So there's a chance that the Nasdaq could have been a massive bull trap today, as the daily cycle takes hold and pulls you down. Now, this could still pump a little bit to 319 again for a 3-wave move. And if you look here, it looks like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down, okay, with divergence. It looks, unless it's an expanded flat, and an A, B, C, and then it's a 1, 2, 1, 2, and tomorrow we'll get 3 of 3. But even if it pumps to 324, 323, it's gonna fail. This gap is gonna fill. It's gonna fill. How we get there is anyone's guess. So I do think if you're in a long and you're holding overnight, you're taking risk. It could do that and drop tomorrow. The more bearish count is a 1, 2, 1, 2, like this. A 1, 2, 1, 2. I don't think it's favored. because of the structure of that wave, something like that though. And again, if it does do a 3 of 3, it looks like it needs to happen tomorrow. That's, I think, before the CPI news. That's interesting, right? We'll see. Now, could it meander around tomorrow and that CPI news pump and then reverse? Yes. And we see that a lot. We saw that on Fed Day. News comes out, the first reaction is the wrong move, and then it gives it up. Look for that in the CPI. If we stay kind of flat tomorrow, sideways, look for a potential spike and then drop. You know, that's one likely outcome. The other is just a drop. But I believe whatever happens, a drop will come. The drop's coming. The IWM should pump a little more. The Dow Jones looks like this is some kind of 4-wave that should just needs one more high. I would be surprised if it's an elaborate 2-wave and a 1-2. I don't really have a good count on this yet, so I would just stay away from the Dow at this point. It's definitely in some kind of 3-wave move up, but this looks like it broke the cycle. It reset the cycle. Let's see. We haven't reset the cycle yet. So, you know, if we do move up and break this high, then you would have to think it's a 1, 2, 3, 4, a 5-wave move off the low of some kind. And then here you have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So you have 5 down here, 5 up, and then here you have 5 down, A, B, C, and so here you have 5 down again. So again, if you look at, you know, this could be an A, a B, and then a C here for W, and then you get an X and a Y. So it'll be like maybe something like that. I'll have to look at it closer. I don't prefer to trade it, but I do think at this point it's going to find sellers very soon if it goes any higher. So the market is in a very treacherous position, and again, it's just trying to take your money. The bears, it's trying to close out short positions. It's trying to do what people have been trying to do with natural gas. Oh, I want to buy it. I want to buy it. I just can't. So until people give up shorting NVIDIA, the market won't go down. It'll just keep squeezing higher and higher and higher. And it's just, but then once the squeeze stops, everything will unravel very quickly back to its natural, you know, its natural price. But I do think that's what's happening is people come in, they go stupid short right away, and then they get squeezed because they have weak hands. The shorts just aren't, don't have the confidence the bulls do right now. The bulls are controlling the market, but I do think that's soon going to change, like it always does. It always ebbs and flows. Now, I was looking at this as like a top-in pattern here, you know, and if we could drop down and then you know, and then fill that, so you get a left shoulder and a right shoulder, and then you get a massive dump. So I'm looking for this type of pattern, and we could go a little higher. You know, we'll see how this plays out, if this plays out or not. And like I said, we'll see if we do break the high. Like I said, if we break the high, there'll be so much bearish divergence across that higher high. It would be a short of a lifetime that the market's given you if it were to do that. So we'll wait and see what takes place. Like I said, I don't know the future, but all I know is the market needs to go lower, and the daily is open. The daily's open. Look what happened when we were open last time. See, we tried to pump and then it failed, and here we're trying to pump. So the NASDAQ may shock people because of, again, this daily stochastic will pull the market down until it gets reset. So that's what it looks like to me. Now the 4 hour, it does tend to come in here and have a little blip, a little bounce here, but we want to see that 4 hour reset too. So ideally, it would be nice to see this drop to 304, 305. You get the daily to kind of come down into this area. You get the 4 hour down here reset, and then you get a pretty big pump. I wouldn't label it 4 anymore. Maybe that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Maybe this would be the 2 wave, and then you can get another big pump to reset the Stokes for this move. So the trade-in strategy may be to, if we get this cover, take the profit, the easy money, and then let it bounce and reload on the bounce. Like I said, it probably wouldn't be labeled the way I show it. It'd probably be labeled as a 1, 2 is how I would eventually probably label this. If this were to happen, we get down here. So I do think this is where we're gonna end up. It's just a short-term noise. It's just trying to shake out weak hands. It's trying to shake out weak hands. I was going back to SQQ. I just wanted to kind of again show people the big picture. As you can see in the big picture, it's just kind of some sideways action. Let's go back to the previous wave 2, right? Back here. We had kind of a similar sideways action here, or even here. Imagine if you gave up your position here. Look where it ended up going. You see what I'm saying, guys? Or here, the market gyrates. Nothing's a V bottom, especially in the SQQ. So this is just a sideways move. You see this fractal quite often in the SQQ at these turn-in points where you get this like choppiness and then it explodes out. And I believe that's what's going to happen here as well. Now, if the SQQ breaks the all-time low, what's that going to do? Well, short term, it could still relief rally up. But long term, it should see more downside, which means tech would have more upside, which means you need to start thinking about that the connector is going to be much bigger than we believed. So really, technically, it's got to hold this 28.17. Like I said, even if it breaks it, you could get that rally back up, which I would expect, but then that rally would fail, and then we should see much more downside, which would be much more strength in technology. So it's really the market's at a very key area, an inflection point. All right, so just kind of go through everything real quick. Bitcoin pumping, it finally hit the area of where I said you should start to think about shorting or selling it, right here. When we broke out originally, in this area, I said this was the target. People thought I was stupid. I even have those posts to show you how dumb people thought I was. Now look where we are. But now this is where I would sell if you had been long here. But it's gonna pull back now. It's gonna pull back. Look at that bearish divergence on the daily, guys. Where have we seen that kind of bearish divergence on the daily? Oh, we've seen it at that peak. So we've seen it. This is a major sign of a major peak, by the way. So even if this is the first wave up and everything's good, 1, 2, it's gonna pull back. It'll pull back. So it's on borrowed time. Now, what I like is this a nice 5-wave move up off this low, but it could still be a flat, and I've talked about that. So it's really tough to say until this 2 plays out where crypto's gonna head. Longer term, it could easily come back down to 12 still, but that really depends, I think, on the rest of the stock market and what kind of correction we're going to get. Now, oil should make one more high, I'm thinking, in this wave 5. So oil should be one more high, and then that should pull back pretty good. Gold's start to look more and more like it's topped here in 1. So this could be done. again. So this would be a pretty, three week move lower, somewhere down into this area. Silver should get another pop, one more pop higher, and then that should finish its impulse. Nat gas was pumping today, but again, I would be careful with it. The reason I don't like the structure is if you're a trader, if you're an investor, it's fine. Long-term investor, but trader is not fine for long positions because of the cold. ETF shows something that should be concerning to you. How we broke this high here, and we impulsed off of a three-way move down. So this looks like some kind of flat. And in fact, that may have been done here at 65. If not, it could see this area, but this is some kind of flat pattern. But I believe once this two's in, gold should go higher from here to finish this sequence. It seems like it is gonna get to the 130 target. But I mean, again, if you're trading it, this is just something you want to be aware about. There's a structure, looks like 5 waves off the bottom, a 3-wave decline, 5 up, and now we're pulling back into some kind of some kind of wave 2 here, correcting this move up. And we'll need to wait and see what happens here. Bigger picture on gold, again. This is resistance. If we flip that, it should hit 132. This is much bigger resistance. If somehow we can break through that, then it's 260. And I don't think it's got what, I don't think it can go past this level. This is way beyond expectations. It could turn, this is a left shoulder, this could become a head. We would pull back, and I don't know if we would ever form a right shoulder at that point if it got this high. But I do think natural gas seems to be pretty bearish based on what I'm seeing here. I think that could pull the price of it down to 1.5. So again, if you're investing in it, you need to understand your downside risk. Your downside risk has always been in this colored area. I do believe we will come down to these lower targets. These lower targets where I have these boxes shaded. So if you're an investor, you need to be patient, and it's going to take a lot of time, but it eventually will bounce and bounce significantly. I just don't see it happening quite at this moment in time. Not yet, but I do think we'll see it bounce later on. Okay, the 2-year, I have it in this B wave. Again, it could be 1, 2, 3. It could come higher, drop. It could already be done. It's just kind of in this sideways area, indecisive area. The 10-year, I do like it lower yields in this setup. It's a significant 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. As you know, what comes after that, 3 of 3. So this could be a massive crash type move in rates. This would be a perfect risk off move coming if the 10-year has a 3 of 3 moment mass. So this is telling you there could be a massive risk off move coming across the market soon if this plays out like I have it. And that could end 4, but it may not end 4. That could be just a corrective move that's finished, and this could just continue lower from here on out. We don't know what the market's going to do on the long end yet. It needs to break one of these pivots, and it's still holding. But as you can see, the bond market wants to puke, wants to spike up. It seems like it wants to go higher, bonds, and so rates lower. VIX was up today despite all the euphoria, and I expect it to continue to be green, signifying a turning point in the market. The dollar index is very confused. This looks like the first leg of the three-wave move here of some kind of move, and then it should continue lower. My guess should continue lower, and then once this ends, then we should see some dollar strength come back. But we'll see how this plays out right now. But I believe it's in B. It's clearly reset the cycle. I mean, B technically could be done now, for all we know. It's tough to, but this is where we are with it. Where I think we are with the dollar. Okay, so the market, like I said, market should is in a top-in pattern, if you want to call it that, and there will be an event. And it seems like the timing of it is either Wednesday or something next week, but in the next 2 weeks there's going to be an event that will happen in the market as bad as COVID, March 2020, and it will be that type of sell-in and capitulation. I don't know what it would be. I don't know. I mean, Taiwan almost looked like became occupied. It was getting really, really dicey over the last couple of days. So you just don't know when that news is going to come. That's going to wipe this thing out. But it's out there. It's just we haven't. We're like we did in February. We're just ignoring it. We're just saying that's not a big deal until it becomes a big deal. So there is some news out there that's a big frickin' deal right now. That's known to everyone, but everyone's ignoring it right now. But then what will happen is somehow that news will come to life where you can't ignore it any longer, and then all hell will break loose in the market. And I believe we'll get March 2020 style selling because what I think will happen is the market will reprice where we are now quickly back down to these areas, and then consolidate here for a while before it breaks this massive support area. And I believe the ES will do the same thing, come down, break this somewhere down at 370, and then maybe meander around for a month up higher before it really resets. And the Russell's kind of your fractal, like you see how it broke, and it kind of has been, I think it's the same thing. And that's what we're going to see, and we're going to see this in the Dow. We're going to see a massive plunge soon. So this is what's coming. I know no one. It's hard to believe it, but it was hard to believe the market would ever stop back from October 2019 to March 2020. Even in the face of all the negative news and everything that was going on during that time, the market pumped. So the pumps do end. And when they do, the higher they pump, the more violent and vicious the reaction lower. And that's what the market is up against, guys. And I wish I had better news, but it is what we're gonna see. Before I wrap up the video, I do want to just kind of click through some of the technology stocks and see how things are going. AMD, I gave you guys this. Someone's like, "Hey, I want to buy something." I said AMD could be it. Looks like that was a good bounce play. Again, just a 3-swing reaction. Now the reaction's over. It can go lower, it could go higher. It's in a weird spot. But interested reaction again by semiconductors, considering they're so, TSM, Samsung earnings was so poor, but yet we're pumping. Why? Because there's just too many people short, and they're just weak hands. The people that are short, they just get squeezed out too easily. So it's a lot of dumb money short too, not just long. There's also a lot of dumb money short the market that doesn't have the conviction, but they need to be patient because they will be rewarded if they hold. Apple, just kind of chopping around here. I believe it's probably looks like some kind of 3-wave move down here. Could still be in 2, but could also be some kind of wave 4. It's a couple too many possibilities, so I'll leave it like that. But nothing really exciting. I mentioned Wayfair as a buy opportunity. Looked pretty good there. Looking at some of these other ones that are lagging behind. So let's go see commodities. Yeah, nothing good there. Let's take a look at where we are with rig. Yeah, XOM. Yeah, nothing. Let's see here. How's the GDX doing? It's close to finishing. Let's see. How's FCX? Hit the short area, sold off. Rio, weak. Okay, let's go look at consumer discretionary. Yeah, it's just real choppy. I mean, people love to buy stocks, guys. I mean, everyone is so conditioned to buy because it's just what has always worked. And people love to buy. They love to hold something and touch it and know they own it. Short isn't really a popular thing in this market, but it will soon become. And in fact, be so popular, I believe they'll be banned in a lot of different ways. And a lot of people that are shorting it will be blamed for what's about to happen. You watch, but for now, I wouldn't worry too much about it. But I do think they'll need a scapegoat when this thing really starts to unravel. MicroStrategy pumped a little bit. That looks like now we've got an impulse. Let's see the 4-hour. It erased divergence, so it's could be just a triple off the low here. So it may be still not out of the woods quite yet. And I would still be careful, but it's looking less and less likely that Bitcoin is going to make a new low. And but I do think if MicroStrategy can make it back down here, that would be a good trade idea for a bounce or perhaps to new highs. Mara, let's see how that's working out. Mara. So Mara, if you look here, looks like it's 3 and you have divergence here, and that looks like 3 waves. So it actually hasn't taken that peak. It really needs to. Until then, it could still be in an A, B, C. So I would be careful, but it does look like it's going to break out higher into this area up here, and then this was 2, and then it's going to have a massive pump in the next several days. Riot still in wave 5 with a divergence, 1, 2, 3 of 5. Need to make sure 3 isn't the shortest. Coinbase is lagging. Okay, financials. Let's take a look at what's going on here. FRC. Yeah, it's just waiting for a reason to sell off is what it looks like it's gonna do. So it just looks like it's kind of biding time before it has an excuse to puke lower. Healthcare, nothing really there, and industrials. Scott's Miracle Grow was pretty strong. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 off the low. 1, 2. Looks like 5 down. So it looks like this bounce should fail for opportunity to go long against 39. I've been seeing Caterpillar in the news lately. Let's see what Caterpillar's been doing. If I can find it here. Three down, connector. 178. So it's still got a ways to go. Deer, still got a ways to go. So yeah, some of these industrials just aren't there yet. And our real weak stocks, Mattel, still got to go down. How about Intel? Should be heading down in wave 5. Looks like that wave 4 should be ending soon. There was a lot of pumping around MU. So what's MU doing? 3 up here. We still haven't taken that peak yet, so it could be a 1-2, 1-2. X could go up higher. It's correcting this entire move down, or it could even be a WX, YXZ. So it's got a couple options here. If it needs to take that divergence out. It hasn't done that yet. In fact, this could be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 off the low, and we could probably put that dub here and put the X there and label it. Yeah, see, there's no divergence on that peak. Label it something like an A, B, C. So again, these moves are coming to an end, guys. You know, something like that. And then that's it. So anyway, hope it all works out. Like I said, I do believe we have some downside coming this month. Not to get the position you want isn't going to be easy. It's going to be tough to time it, and you're just going to have the conviction, the money management, and the patience to get the prize at the end of this. I do believe, though, you could get a little bit of a shakeout, and perhaps some of these highs try to break, especially in the NASDAQ. And if it does, I just think that's a huge gift to short. The market is just given to you on a silver platter, just like it did at the end of February. So you just don't know what the market's going to do. But I do have 3 up, so the market could find sellers at 319 tomorrow, and at any moment in the SPY. If this count is right, then tomorrow we should be pretty red. If the count's wrong and it's a wave 4 and this is a 1-2, then we should see a pretty big green day tomorrow. If we don't see any movement, then CPI will be the judge of the direction we go. But typically you could see a pump and a failure. That's probably the way I would look at the setup for CPI if that were to be the case. So good luck, and we'll see what happens. Talk to you guys later.